Stream. I'm Mauro, and this is Josh.
Burger.
And we are talking
AKA
about...
the Wrestler, AKA.
AKA Houndy.
Yeah.
And we're talking about Uncharted 4 and DLC, microtransactions equals lots of money for Sony,
Yeah, Uncharted 4 recently came out that they made 48 million, if I'm not mistaken, around there in the 40s or the 60 million, of microtransactions and DLC.
And this is separate from
the sales.
The hard copy,
Yeah, so this is all from booster buys and like costumes and like maybe like a map pack or something like that.
And
not that I know if there's any map packs out yet, but there's a small little
potentially they could be added if they're not there right now.
Yeah.
So to give you a little background, me and Josh often argue of whether video games should maintain their $60 value.
Mm-hmm.
I am usually in favor for games to cost a little bit more. I'm actually in favor of this because I feel that as consumers, we ask a lot of developers, and we always tell them to give more, put more, and yet we don't compensate them more, at least on the front end.
Yeah.
Whereas Josh feels...
I think the price is perfect. I'm actually surprised that the games haven't gone down recently. And the reason being is because Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo argued that it was more expensive to make games because of the Blu-ray. That's the argument that they made.
Okay.
And now that the Blu-ray is actually a good price, instead of going down back to 50, they kept it at 60, which is understandable. 60 is a perfect price point, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, you know, not every game is going to have the budget and the from the marketing of an Uncharted game.
Yeah, of course not.
You know, we're talking about, I mean, there are some really interesting games out there made by indie developers, you know, basically on their own, over a few years.
Yep.
And to tell them, hey, by the way, this is a work of art that I've loved, that has provided me countless hours of entertainment. How cheap can I get it on a Steam sale is like a big fuck you to these developers.
Of course, and the reason being is because it takes a lot of time to do that. It takes a lot of time to make a video game. It's like they said a horror story of EA one time. These guys work night and day, like no sleep, no breaks, no nothing. Just maybe something to eat here and there. Like that's it. And it's nightmarish for some people if you don't work for a good company that like gives you breaks.
Fuck good company. I mean, you know, a lot of people go into the industry thinking like, cool, I want to be a game programmer.
Yeah.
I want to be, develop, these things. And they don't realize that what they're in for is basically equivalent to, 12-hour work days, right? Like super pressure
and
to
these guys
complete.
Don't get paid a lot. Like
exactly. And then once you're done with it, oh, hey, by the way, guys, we're closing down the studio.
Yeah.
Right, because we need to conserve money so that we can make a profit off of our game.
Yeah.
Some might argue that, well, yeah, but Sony's keeping the monster share of that profit. If they distributed it a little bit better, they wouldn't have to do these things.
Yeah.
But, we live in a world where that's just what's going to happen.
Yep. And I was telling you that DLC is acceptable for me, and you're looking at me with that look already, that like, when a game has good DLC, when you compare it to Red Dead Redemption DLC, which is Undead Nightmare. Undead Nightmare was a game in itself. It was a perfect story. It was fun, and you had the whole open world yourself. So much so that Rockstar sold Undead Nightmare as a separate game themselves for $30, and I would have paid $60 for that game because it was that fun and that cool to play as zombie John Marston or the Four Horsemen of Apocalypse and find a freaking unicorn or a Bigfoot.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a counterexample. Let's take, for instance, Destiny.
Yeah.
Right? So Destiny is released, has a lot of hype to it, right? And on its release, people are just like, well, this is an incomplete game.
Yeah.
Where is this feature? Where is that feature?
Yeah.
Is it Sony's responsibility to say, but yeah, you know what? Okay.
That's Activision's game.
Activision. Is it their responsibility to be like, oh, you know what, you're right, we're sorry, and they did that, they kind of apologized, and then they were like, yeah,
we're going to do it anyways.
We're going to do it anyways, because if you want to see how much time and effort and money goes into this game, then unless you want it in 10 years when we perfected it, no, you want it now so you can play it, and we can make a little bit of money off of it, because if we don't, then this studio doesn't continue making this game.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like, I think the thing that was disappointing, and it goes to your point, is that they promised so much, right? They said all this stuff, they did all these presentations without gameplay, and saying that you're going to be able to explore the universe No Man's Sky style, and go to each universe and go planet by planet, and look, and maybe there's going to be like 12 planets here and there, when there was like, what? How many planets are there in Destiny? Like 4?
At the beginning, yeah, there were very few things you could actually explore.
Yeah, and people were like, this is not what you said that was going to happen. And continuously, when it came out at E3, they were like, yeah, that's going to be there. You're going to be able to travel in your ship wherever you want, like free.
But
and
again,
there's going to be a ship battle.
Again, that is an issue with consumers. When you go to a car lot, right, and you buy a car, the person is not going to be like, yeah, well, you know what, sometimes the shift, it kind of sticks. You know, or, hey, you know, the brakes are a little squeaky. In about 5 years, this is going to give out. No, they tell you only the good things.
Yeah.
Right? Only the things that you want to hear. Because their job is to sell you a game, or else they can't have a car lot and you don't have a car to buy.
Yes, of course.
You know? So to me, you know, it's good. It's good that Uncharted, you know, made not only profitable margins with its physical games, but that they can continue making money with their DLC.
And part of the reason Naughty Dog has so much trust, and especially with DLC, is because they deliver. Like, they deliver the game. Uncharted 4 is the third highest reviewed perfect scores. Like, had the most perfect score in
but
games.
Then again,
with 38. You know who else had the perfect scores ahead of them? Uncharted 2 and The Last of Us.
Then again, Naughty Dog can afford not to make profit. You know, they have a lot of money invested in them. Yeah. They have a lot of money saved away. So they don't have to make profit
part of the reason
like other game developers.
Part of the reason is because they made a giant hit called Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3.
Yeah,
and
another reason is because Sony throws so much money to ensure that they continue making those games.
Yes, of course.
And other developers just don't have that luxury.
And I agree. Other developers don't have that luxury because unfortunately they have to sign with somebody named Activision. They have to sign with somebody named EA. And those companies aren't exactly like money throwers at their studios. They're like, make what you can with what we give you and make it now.
Yeah, I mean that's why, you know what, like I've always said, you know, I remember buying Street Fighter 2 for $80. I got it for Christmas, but at the time it was $80.
Yeah.
And I played the shit out of that game.
Yeah.
And I sure, you know, I got $80 worth. I got
too.
Yeah, I got like close to like $1,000 worth of enjoyment from that game.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna pay $1,000, but to be honest with you, it's weird that I would say out of the 6 or 7 times I go to a movie, I am disappointed at least half the time.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's why the review scores for video games are held to a higher standard, because a 6 in movies is okay. It's good. It's respectable. But a 6 in games, you're done. That's it. Like that's a good score.
Which is an argument for another day.
Yes,
is like, why is it so bad if a game is just kind of average?
Yeah.
Like I hate what I hate. No, it doesn't. What I hate is someone saying, yeah, it's a good game, but I'm not really sure it's worth $60. It's only like 12, 14 hours long.
Yeah, of course.
And that's like insane to me. Like, wow, you played the game for 12 and 14 hours. That's the base game.
That's the day.
A movie is...
No. And I agree with you. You got, like, Heavenly Sword. We're going to get into this, unfortunately.
Heavenly
Sword, right? That is a 7...
Is that like a PS1 game?
PS4 game. Heavenly Sword is maybe 7 hours long at best. If you rush through it the way I did, because I had it rented, I beat it in 5 or 6 hours. And that game was short but fun. I love that game. I defend that game to this day because my friends say it's garbage and it's a God of War clone. But I, to this day, am waiting for a sequel to that game because it was so good. And I
think they did.
No, wait, I didn't rent. No, they did.
It's God of War 4, no?
Huh? And I'm still waiting for a sequel, but at the same time, I take it back. I bought that game for full price, and to this day I enjoyed it. I loved it. So it just depends on the person, and gamers are the most consumers on the entire
We're the
world.
worst.
Yes, we're the worst.
Yes, we are the worst.
But yeah, let's not get too into the review thing because that's like another 30-minute video.
Indeed. Chime in with your opinions. Should games cost more? Should companies try to make it on DLC or add-on content, which some people hate? Some people hate the microtransaction system.
Yeah.
And so, how do you feel? Just go ahead and put your opinions in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe to the video. It really helps us develop more content. And we'll catch you later, guys.
Peace.
What? Okay, stop. What the fuck was